All right. Music. All right. How's everybody doing? We are back again. This is episode number 3 of the Calibrated live show, I guess we're going to call it. I don't have any map updates, which is usually where I start. We had a kind of a busy night, so I'm going to go over the feel wind. I'm going to go over the recent Russian missile strike, the Ukrainian response, so on and so forth. We're going to go over some footage. I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the stuff that's been going on over the past, I guess, 24 hours. Did I do my last stream 24 hours ago? Is that how long it's been? Can't remember. I think I did one yesterday. But for what it's worth, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So last night, the Russians conducted yet again another missile strike on Ukraine. Some people, there's been a lot of conversation about whether these missile strikes are planned or in retaliation for something like the large landing ship that was hit, or the recent Ukrainian shelling of Belgorod after the last strike that killed 15 Russian civilians, basically just in a Christmas market. They just shelled a populated area just because. There's a lot of discussion whether these strikes are retaliatory or if they are planned. I assume they're planned. If you look at any of the targets that are being hit right now, it's a lot of infrastructure in terms of military infrastructure. So a lot of like weapons plants sort of stuff, factories, all this kind of, I guess you would almost call it dual use. Some of it's not originally meant to be military infrastructure, but it has become that since the SMO has carried on. So let's just get right into it with the Telegram. If you guys are having any issues seeing what I'm seeing, please let me know, just because I would like to be able to correct that. Because last time we had some issues with the videos showing up. So I'm going to go over some stuff and then we'll talk about it. All right. So we talked about the HIMARS. Okay, so I'll just start off with actually this. This is something that I wanted to show. So we had a recent video of a number of Leopard 2A5s. I can't remember which Scandinavian country donated them to Ukraine, but maybe Denmark. But we have, or Sweden, I can't remember. But we have multiple Leos hit, and the area where these Leos are hit is actually very interesting. It's right crossing over into the Terney bridgehead right here. So this is one of the few places where the Ukrainians can come across into this bridgehead, and they lost a number of tanks right here. So this whole area is probably in great jeopardy right now and is likely to fall soon. Let me go back to this real fast. Can everybody see what I'm seeing? Just making sure. Yeah, Sweden did send the CV90s. Black screen. Can't see the full screen. Okay, so I just have to leave it. So whatever it is, whenever I go full screen, you can't see it. Okay, that makes sense. At least it makes sense as to what's going on. Does anybody know? I don't really know how to fix that, honestly. Let's see. Let's go here. Tell me if you guys can see it now. I'm just going to play the video and tell me if you can see that at all, or if it's still really tiny over here on the side. I think it's maybe when I open up this new, when I like enlarge it, it doesn't transfer. It's working, but just in a tiny window. Oh, okay. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. So are you saying it's small, like it's small over here, like it's in this tiny little area right over here? Let me just see. If it's over here in this small little area, then I guess I'm just gonna have to go through it. It goes to another window, which is not linked to the stream. Yeah, that's the thing is I open it up and it goes to another window. So anyway, I'll go over it. The videos are not as important. I wish I could make them bigger, but here, maybe I can just go onto my Twitter and go through my Twitter and do it that way. That might make it so that you guys can actually see what I'm seeing. Twitter. All right. So we can go down because I basically post everything twice. So let me know if you guys can see this video. Here we have a video from the Russian missile strike. Ukrainian air defense missile falling into the water. This is the exact scenario you see often with these hitting buildings, parking lots or whatever, and then it gets blamed on a Russian missile strike. So that's that. Let me get out of this. Downsize. Go back over here. Can you guys see that when I open that one? Yeah, okay, this we can see. Okay, awesome. Perfect. So I'll just I'll stay on Twitter then. As you can see, it is definitely shaped like a Iris-T missile, which is likely what it is. Iris-T are defending the skies over Kiev to the best of their limited ability. And so once again, I'll just play it real quick. You just see the missile drop, the spent missile. I guess there's not a lot of missile left to it, just the body falling into the water after a failed interception. Down here, this is the most exciting part of the whole event, was that we actually got to see a Kinzhal missile strike. And when they slow it down, you can see it. It comes in. When you slow it down and pause it, you can actually make out the Kinzhal missile, which is a very significant event just because we have never actually seen a confirmed Kinzhal missile strike, and that's what this appears to be. When you watch the video in slow motion, you almost can't even see it. There's like one tiny little frame where you can pause it and get a photo of it. It's vertically striking, so coming straight down, which tends to be characteristic of ballistic. If it was a cruise missile, it would be moving much slower and you'd be able to see it come in. I've seen hundreds of cruise missiles hit targets during this conflict, and this is just not what it looks like. This is what a ballistic missile looks like, similar to an Iskander. And a lot of people claimed that this might have been an Iskander. But I'm going to go over why it's not an Iskander very, very soon, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because there were no Iskanders fired in the direction of Kiev over this entire thing. So, this is a Kinzhal. There were a number of Kinzhals fired. I don't believe any of them were intercepted, and I believe that the hits fully show what happened here. So here I am making fun of Ukraine battle maps, his fake MOD numbers again. 10 out of 10 Kinzhals were intercepted, apparently, according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. But if you come here and look, it's very interesting. 10 out of 10 Kinzhals were intercepted. 0 out of 12 ballistic missiles, which basically means Iskanders, were not intercepted. That is pretty telling. Either these ballistic missiles were fired away from all air defense capable of intercepting them, or I don't really think that the Ukrainians have the missile air defense capabilities to actually even intercept most ballistic missiles, just because of the way that they have it positioned around Kiev and stuff like that. It's not impossible for Patriot or Iris-T to intercept these. It's just the odds of it happening are very low. 3 out of 3 caliber missiles. I don't even know. I heard that these were fired, but I didn't really ever get any information. So this is maybe believable. I have no idea. 59 out of 70 X-101s. Don't believe that. We had hits all across the country. We had 20 plus hits in Kiev alone, and there were no ballistic missiles that hit Kiev. So, 35 out of 35 Shahed drones. Classic Ukraine MOD numbers. 100%, except where it matters, except in the area where it does matter, which is the Kinzhals, but we have proof that this is a bullshit number. So, this is just crap. This is garbage. I can't believe this guy has fucking 321,000 followers. It's fucking absolutely dog shit information that he pushes consistently. So there's that. Let's see. Here we have a video just of cruise missiles overhead. You hear them. These are some of the X-101s. Boom, hits a target. Here comes another one. Beautiful sound. Boom. Again. So multiple hits, multiple cruise missiles. And now here we get to actually see the impacts. So here's one of the impacts over here. Don't actually know what this is. I haven't geolocated any of these videos yet. But another explosion over here. Comes back to look at this explosion. Boom, another explosion over here. So this site has been hit by 2 missiles now. And we have a missile strike over here, very close, large fire already going, and then boom, a third missile strike. So in this 30-second or 1-minute video, we've seen 4 confirmed missile strikes on Kiev alone, right? So it just, the numbers that they're putting out don't really add a lot or make a lot of sense. Here's that Kinzhal again. One that actually slows down. You can see it. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. I thought that might have been the one that would slow down. And then we had this strike also, which I was trying to figure out what it was. It kind of looks like a gas main is on fire over here. And then subsequently, boom, that happens. It could be a missile strike. I have no idea. One of the things that this kind of looks like is almost like a double tap. You can see there's emergency responders on site. It just depends if it's a missile or if it's, something like a gas line explosion. It could be either the explosion does come from where the fire is, which makes me very suspicious that it could be a gas leak. I don't know for sure though. So that one's in the maybe pile in terms of Russian strikes. Here we have a Greek guy who was filming. A lot of the videos we're seeing are actually from foreigners, which is interesting. But this entire warehouse, I think it was probably storing ammunition just because of the level of destruction. Watch how far he walks here. This is an immense amount of destruction that happened from this strike. Now, either multiple missiles hit here, or something detonated inside of this warehouse. The Russian MOD did claim that they targeted a ammunition warehouse or storage facility inside of Kiev. So yeah, I mean the damage here is just it's insane for a single missile. It would have to be multiple missiles or some sort of secondary detonation. Just some more shots of Kiev. Obviously, we have one big fire over here, one big fire over here. One of the fires was, it looked like falling debris of some kind, whether it's air defense or Russian missile, struck a Tesla store. And that could be what this fire is. I'm not exactly sure, but there was a major fire at a Tesla vehicle store, like an actual outlet. So that's another thing. And then here we have Russian missile strikes, blurred video, of course, but something important's getting hit over there. Just a very, very, very bad day for Ukrainian air defense all around. I don't think I have anything else to really show you on here. Here's another video of an explosion. I imagine most of you guys saw this, but this is Kiev. This is a security footage. This is what looks to be an air defense missile going to intercept something. Don't know if it actually intercepted anything. It's hard to tell, but so that was the upshoot of the strike. It pretty much. I got to pause this. It pretty much was a catastrophe for Ukrainian air defense. I had wrote on my Telegram a little while earlier that the Russians were going to very, very heavily focus Kiev. That was at like my time, 5 o'clock yesterday, which was hours before the strikes actually began. And the reason why I said that is because if you guys watch where the Garand 2 drones fly around, where they spend most of their time, usually that's a good indicator of where where Russian missile strikes are going to be focused. They are exhausting Ukrainian AD in the region. They're exposing and suppressing Ukrainian air defenses, and then they strike. Yesterday, leading up to the strike, we saw hours and hours of drones just circling over Kiev and the other oblasts in the region, really wearing down Ukrainian air defense. And from the, I guess, examples we saw yesterday of what happened during this airstrike or during these missile strikes, Ukrainian air defense has been rather degraded to a serious degree, if not suppressed pretty significantly. So I expect these missile strikes now to continue. It seems like there's a different pattern now. There's the intensity and the I guess I would say consistency of air raids in Ukraine. There's always Garand 2s. There's always Iskander missiles striking. There's always something going on that's exhausting Ukrainian air defense. I think that they're going to try to exhaust that air defense as much as physically possible. And then really what I'm thinking that they're wanting to do is open up the front line to some more serious bombing and not just with, unguided bomb or not guided bombs from far away, but getting like the Su-25s in action more and stuff like that, not tilting up and firing rockets, but actually helping in ground support or fire support on the ground. I'm going to present let's see, can I not bring up but I don't know what this is. No, that's not it. Okay, I can't bring up my, dang it, my paint. Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just show you guys the one that I had set up on my Twitter, and I'll kind of explain it to you. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. Right here. So this is not the best. I had a better one set up in Microsoft Paint, but I couldn't bring it over. So if you look up here, you can see kind of a legend for the colors. This is the way that these missile strikes are conducted, and I'll kind of explain it here. So we have the blue arrow is the Tu-95 missiles. They're launched from the Caspian. They can enter Ukraine from any direction. They fly over the Black Sea and enter through the south. They come right through here and enter through here, or in the most recent missile strikes, they've been coming in through the Sumy and Chernigov region. So up here, this is the normal path that these missiles take. They're always fired from the Caspian Sea. So that's the primary salvo of missiles. And then you have white, which are ballistic missiles, usually launched from the Zaporozhye region or the Belgorod region up here. These normally target Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, Kharkov, Poltava, any of the sort of near to the front line cities. Kiev is very, very irregularly targeted with ballistic missiles, usually fired from this region right here. potentially in Belarus. I'm not sure. Belarus hasn't been very active since the opening weeks of the war, since the withdrawal from Kiev. So ballistics usually are focused around Kharkov, Dnipropetrovsk, Kryvyi Rog, Zaporozhye, those sort of cities. And last night, we saw most of the Iskanders go to the Kharkov region. So that's that. And then we have Garin 2 launches, which usually come from Crimea or Kherson, somewhere in this region right here. They fly up through Nikolaev, or they kind of follow the river all the way up to Kiev. They get into the eastern part of the country. And basically, this black arrow is what we've been seeing for the past 4 days. There's been almost a consistent air raid siren on in Ukraine for one reason or another: tactical aviation, drones, something of that nature. And most recently, it's been Garin 2 drones pushing up into this region and just depleting Ukrainian air defense. And then the last one we had yesterday was the Tu-22s, which are the Russian bombers. They were launching over the Sea of Azov. So they launched their missiles from right here, and then they proceed into the country this way. Just to give you guys sort of an idea of where these missiles come from, how they get to their targets, that this is how they work. And by the way, when like X-101s come in or anything, they fly in and they just go like all over the place and just spin around and confuse air defense and then come in and hit the target. It's very interesting. We saw recently that they can deploy flares. So, they're actively evading Ukrainian air defense and then hitting their targets. But it's all good because they intercepted 59 out of 70. So we're good. We're good. No need to react and go strike Belgorod like a insolent little child, right? No need for that. That's ridiculous. We'll just the Russians didn't hit anything, so we don't need to go strike Belgorod and expose ourselves for what we are. Let me share my Telegram one more time. Here we go. I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at. Where's my Telegram at? I can never find it. Very sad. There it is. I just wanted to look at. You guys can't see these videos as well, but wait, that's not it. Here, I don't know if you guys can hear this. I know you can't see it as big, but this is from tonight in Belgorod region. The Ukrainians are once again shelling what is likely civilian areas. I don't know for sure. I'm just going to go ahead and make that assumption that's what they're hitting because that's what they hit last time. And it doesn't really seem like these attacks are planned out like the normal Ukrainian attacks. There's not drones that are saturating Russian air defense followed up by Storm Shadow cruise missiles or something like that, which is like a legitimate, honest strike. Like the landing ship strike in Crimea, that was a God honest military strike. Now, is that what I would have used my missiles on? Absolutely not. But at least that's like a planned, targeted, and well-executed operation, right? What we're seeing in Belgorod right now is basically just multiple launch rocket systems firing into cities because they don't know what else to do. They're having a very hard time hitting any strategic military targets. The reason why large landing ships are being targeted is because they do not have their own active defenses. They do not have air defense on board like a lot of the missile cruisers do. They do not have, they're not overly protected by air defense networks just because they're not as vital. I mean, the landing ships and some of these boats have done absolutely nothing in this conflict other than perhaps transport like logistics transport, which is maybe why it exploded. But you can replace that with a civilian ship, no problem. Or you can just use a railroad and the roads that are actually a part of the land bridge. So that large missile or that large landing ship that was hit is just an opportune target for the Ukrainians because it's not as protected as some of the other installations in Crimea. Like Sevastopol is pretty protected. Maybe not as much now that a lot of the ships have moved away. There's probably not as much interest in that area, so that you don't need to cover it as well. But definitely the airfields in Crimea and stuff like that. These are hard areas to hit through Russian air defense. It does happen. The saturation does occur, but even when we see these hits get through, it's pretty much like one or two missiles, right? Compared to like what we saw in Kiev yesterday, which was 20 explosions around the whole city. However many of those are missiles is up to you. I think that I've seen at least seven missile hits with my own two eyes, and that's just in Kiev proper. That doesn't mean that there aren't targets all over the rest of the country. There were explosions all over the place, so we're never going to see all of it. But last night, Ukraine took an absolute beating. Well, last night for me, this morning for Ukraine, they took an absolute beating. I don't know. I've been brainstorming personally what I believe the Russian plans are, what they're hoping to achieve with these. It doesn't look like they're going after energy infrastructure in any, not in the same way as last year. Last year, we had videos of substations burning up all the time, unless they're hitting power generation, and we're just not seeing the evidence of that as much. Like last night, the power went out in Kiev temporarily. I think it's back up now. But they're just not striking generation, right? They're still going after military listed targets. However, now it does seem like something has shifted in the, targeting parameters, where higher collateral damage is now more acceptable. So I expect that the Russians will start hitting targets that would have previously been deemed non-targetable just because of the civilian casualty aspect, the collateral damage. After Belgorod, after all of this, the rhetoric from Moscow has changed. The strike patterns have changed. Yeah, I believe that it was all planned, but once again, and I've said this a million times, every single time Ukraine strikes Russia proper, and I don't mean like Ukrainian territory that the Russians control or whatever. I mean proper Russian territory like Belgorod, Kursk, any of these regions. Every time they do that, the only thing they do is hurt their own position. They make themselves look weaker. They make the West look like they're supporting it. They make the Russians look like they're actually dealing with sort of bad actors in Ukraine. It just doesn't help in any way except to boost internal morale. And the Russians are just going to continue taking advantage of that. I bet after tonight's strike, they saw those missiles coming in to Belgorod. I think most of them were intercepted. I don't think there were actually any casualties tonight, which is great. Usually, you don't strike the same place twice if you're trying to go for massive civilian casualties, because people learn to not go outside after something like what happened in Kiev happened. So thank goodness tonight no civilians were killed. I don't think that many civilians were even killed in the Russian strikes. I think the total was 4 for last night. And I don't know if that has any military correlation. Like, I don't know if those 4 are military. I don't know if those 4 are civilians. We don't get names. We don't get faces usually. So the Russians, again, fired 110 missiles, 10 hypersonics, 12 ballistic, multiple drones, and they killed less people than the Ukrainians did with a handful of MLRS missiles on Belgorod. 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So it's very interesting, but I just think we're starting to see everything slip. Everything is starting to slip away now. It's obvious that Ukrainian air defense is completely overwhelmed at this point. The Russians are going to have an incredibly less difficult task of destroying military equipment through deep strikes because of this reduced air defense capabilities. And you've already been hearing the West talk about how they don't have the ability to continue supplying Ukraine with air defense missiles at the rate of expenditure that they are currently using them. Now just take what you've seen over the last 5 days. It's been nonstop air raids. The Ukrainians are firing missiles. I think the estimate is 2 air defense missiles per Russian missile are fired per each salvo. So the Ukrainians are going to be, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's going to start stacking and stacking and stacking. And then they've put themselves into this place where they can't, they can't back down. They can't negotiate. They've made it illegal. The situation is just going to get worse and worse. And I think 2024 is going to be an absolutely, it's going to be difficult to watch. If you're pro-Ukrainian, definitely, even if you're pro-Russian or whatever, still, it's going to be difficult to sit there and look at what is about to happen to Ukraine. I think the Russians are done. I think that the U.S. is almost done as well for different reasons. Not like done, like not in the same way Ukraine is done. Like the U.S. is done with Ukraine. They're moving on from this. I imagine they're going to pass one more funding bill to keep it going, and then after that, it's kind of like fend for yourself sort of thing. I don't think the money is going to be near as much as it was last year. The ammunition is not. Ammunition production is not being increased, so don't expect more ammunition to start rolling in before like 2025. And even then, the U.S. is probably going to get itself into a conflict here in the next year or year and a half, and it's going to need to have its own artillery and its own everything. So just expect, if I was a betting man, and this has nothing to do with my own bias, I'll put it aside. If I'm a betting man, I think that 2024 will basically be the last year of this conflict where people could potentially think Ukraine might have a chance still. The real crazies out there are going to lose that idea in 2024. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. That was about 30 minutes. So I appreciate you all coming on to my live. I'm going to work on my map today and tomorrow. So probably some updates in the next coming days on the map. I might do a live tomorrow. I said I'm going to be doing them probably every day. I'm going to stick to that because I really do like these. I like being able to go through and talk about each individual thing. But yeah, if you guys like this, if you want more, always subscribe, share this, please. It helps me tremendously if you share this. Follow me on Telegram, Twitter, Patreon. All those links can be found either on my Telegram or on my Twitter. I'm sure you guys can find it. I'm sure some of you are watching on Twitter right now. Some of you are watching on YouTube. So one way or another, you guys can figure that out. I'll have the links in the description. I'll edit it right after this. And also now I have subscriptions on Twitter. Hold on, before we go, gotta brag a little bit here because I've been working on this for a very, very long time. Let's go here. Profile, where's profile? Right there. Look at that. Look at that number right there. We finally made it. 100,000 on Twitter. That's 100,000 followers since June 2022, I think. So that's pretty good, boys. We did it in about a year and a half. We made it to 100,000. So thank you very much. If you enjoyed my content, go follow me and support me. Where you guys know where. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys next time.